All right, hello and welcome back as we are getting ready for the final game of week number 6 as we are going to have the Vancouver Void up against the Pixel favorites in the Incheon Illusion. Hoping for a good game. We'll see if that's what we get, but we'll have to see because the records sure don't favor it. As you can see, Incheon at 5-0, Vancouver at 1-4. Both teams getting a win last week, but Incheon, of course, also getting wins in the 4 weeks before that one. And so, definitely a little bit different there. As we can move over to our weekly schedule, 4 of the 5 games down, with 2 game 5s, 1 game 4, and a sweep. We'll see where along that this one falls. Hey, if it is a sweep, at least we have symmetry in results. As we then move over to our standings, Incheon trying to move up to join Daytona up at 6-0 and avoid dropping down to meet Boston. Boston then, of course, a step above Madison, who are looking down at Bedford and Loudoun. Then it's Vancouver trying to move up and equalize with Denver and the 2 teams below them at 0 and 6. And then, as you can see on the standings, there it is just Daytona who are clinched for now, as they are the 1 out of the 6 spots that will eventually get clinched. So we'll see as we can move over to our scenarios and pause it on our first 2 teams here. You can see again Daytona getting a clinch because of their win over Kansas City. Still, of course, Incheon undetermined because they hadn't played yet. And so their scenario is very simple. If they win, they're in. Other teams had other conditions, but they played Vancouver, so it was impossible for that second condition Daytona had to be met. And so that was ignored, and it's very simple for them. Then, of course, beyond that, we did have these 2 teams that Boston ended up getting the win between them. But again, because of Bedford's win, and then later in the week, Loudoun as well, they didn't end up clinching, and so they will both have to wait until next week. When I'd say Boston are likely, Madison, they play a tough game, so we'll see. Moving down to our stats then, Smurfy and Koala get the key player nod, although Koala is tied with Arium for that, as it is 3-3 between the both of them, with a tie on shots. Shot percentage going down to Arrow, and then it's saves and assists to Arium, goals and demos to Koala. Over for Incheon, it's a little bit more clear cut, mainly because his other players don't have as many games as him, I believe. But Smurfy leading everything except shot percentage and demos, which both go down to JXL. And then looking at the team averages, it is a 4-3 advantage over to Incheon with a tie on assists. And then shot percentage and demos going to Vancouver with the rest over to the Illusion. I gotta be honest, when I was making this stats graphic, I was shocked by how close the averages are. Yeah, by the way, if you look at games played for Incheon, Smurfy has 20. JXL's the closest with 17. And then it's 12 on Draco. And Bula's obviously the sub. He has 8. So, yeah, I mean, he's topping most of the stats, but he's also just the top in games played. So, that just kind of makes sense in the end, doesn't it? And I think if we were to really look at the roster and pick out a key player, it would have to be JXL. Obviously, he has been very good in multiple seasons now. And, I mean, if nothing else, you can say JXL, formerly of Vancouver, Koala, formerly of Incheon. Both teams going to be wanting to beat their former. As, okay, apparently did the match info wrong, so that's cool. I guess I'll remake then. Unless I didn't, but I don't know. So I'll just send that to both teams that it should work. I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, okay, I guess it does. So I don't know what I messed up with the password, but I guess I did. All good. We're working now. So we do have one team in waiting on the other. But yeah, a bit of a revenge game. Now again, JXL, probably ended up in a spot he's happy with, moving about the entire way up the ladder from towards the bottom team to the first place team. But also, Boomer, the one who did end up making the move, even no matter what led up to it, no longer with the team. And so maybe a little bit less need for retribution there. But Koala, played with the team for a bit, ended up getting dropped in their plethora of moves. Now ending up back on a team, had a good last series, but we'll see if they can do it again in a much harsher environment. Because I haven't said it, of course, I will be predicting Incheon. That's kind of pretty simple to say. That I just think Incheon, first of all, look record, 5-0 team. I favor them. And realistically, I'm going to predict a sweep, and I am really believing or hoping in Vancouver to prove it wrong. We just have seen such a strong play from Incheon that I have to believe they will be the stronger team here. But we want a closer series, and we want to believe. And therefore, we'll see if the Void can make it closer as we get underway. It is Incheon in blue, Vancouver in orange. As we see a double fake on the kickoff, and the two cheating players will have a 50 themselves. And that's not a great start. It is 1-0 for Incheon, 4 seconds in. JXL goes up, Arium side flips, and it just floats its way in. So a bit of an abnormal start to the series, but hey, we're 4 seconds in, and there's a goal on the board over to the favorites. So it's first blood of the illusion. We'll see if they can carry that throughout the game. Great 50 there by Draco. He'll cut. Corinth left alone, but able to get the touch on it. Now played down the sideline again. JXL trying to drop it in. I will say, a lot of people really don't like this Vancouver roster, and that's interesting to me. This one's played across off the sidewall again by Smurfy. Looking for the double. Won't get it, but did fake by one. Walla now staying with it down the sideline. Looking for another 50. It'll play back. Arium now trying to win it forward. Off the left side again. JXL trying to pop it up. Following it up. Right back down. Koala now another one downfield. Smurfy trying to play it forward. Koala's able to get it the other way. Trying to chase it down, but he doesn't have boost and can't get back to it in time. Shot though. Arium ties it. From the corner. Arium finds the angle. And Vancouver find even ground. Just a little bit too awkward for Incheon. They commit 2 to the corner. No one really covering the net, at least not well enough, as the swishy was late. And so the Void get themselves back into this one, but not for long. Okay, there's the goal back. As we go to 2-1, Incheon gonna regain their lead as JXL finds Draco. He smashes it downfield, and there is no one in frame. Corinth was diving, but was at the midfield with no hope of getting it, and so it just floats over him into the net. And it's now a 1-goal lead once again over to our South Korean team. Smurfy now off the left side. This one to the back wall. Corinth up. Leaves the double, but Koala won't read it either. Arium now left alone, but that touch by JXL leaves a lot to be desired and allows Arium to play it. Arium now down to Corinth, but it's dunked away. JXL will turn. He'll beat Koala, but Koala won't get the double. Now pop forward again. Draco brings it down towards the corner. JXL loses out on that 50. Arium now following it down the sideline. Smurfy off the left wall. Koala, again just a giveaway, but Corinth is able to get back in time. I think so far the speed has just been really lacking for Vancouver. That it feels like so many of these, they have someone diving at it, but it's just far too slow. They get dusted, and then we see some plays towards the midfield where, again, they just can't get there. So I think we're going to need to see them pick that up. Get a bit more comfortable. Get a couple more confident challenges. And really press the ball. Because if we see free space like this, I just don't think it's going to go well. As Corinth does get it to the side. But it's just more pressure for Incheon. And guess what? Even if the Void are holding on, how are they going to break out of this? How are they going to get a goal? At that point, they're relying on a mistake, which definitely can happen, but not really something you want to be relying on. As Draco wins another race to the ball, and this will clear all the way downfield. Arium now banging it down, bouncing around the corner. JXL a little bit awkward as he'll have to leave it. Current now bang off the back wall, but it'll center only to a clear. JXL now another block down. Current trying to bring it in. Kind of low boost tanks for Incheon. High shot, but Smurfy a perfect 50. JXL now on it, knocks it wide to the corner. Could allow his teammates to move in, but Koala able to get over one. Arium now looking for Current. The 50 will make its way up the corner. 95 seconds to go. Koala, no power, off target. Draco almost own goals, and then Corinth puts it wide. Needed to place it around the defender, but chooses the wrong side. It rolls harmlessly up the post, and a well-earned opportunity fizzles to dust. The lead remains for Incheon. Another shot would have been wide. Draco gets a save. Arium popping it in. No boost on JXL. The Incheon defense crumbles. And this game is tied. Koala just given a free look. Finally able to get it through the net. The defense just kind of lose themselves in the corner. Now centering out again. Draco not able to get to that one. This one demoed out. Corinth looking for the clear away. It'll center out off the sidewall. Double commit. Smurfy will bang it downfield. Arium now bringing it down. Trying to pop it out. Running out of boost. Looking for a fake. He'll get it. Now he needs a teammate to support. It'll be Koala. Smurfy trying to play it. Doesn't have boost, but given a lot of space here. Demo though opens it up. That shot is in. Vancouver take the lead. Smurfy just not enough boost, and his teammates way too trusting. I mean, you can say what you want about that Smurfy play, but he didn't have boost. There's no reason both of his teammates should be on top of each other past midfield when realistically the best he can do there is a 50. Now 20 seconds left to go. Up the left wall, Koala trying to drop it down. The worst thing you can do for the Void is push up too far and give one for free. Current's now trying to bring it down. It's coming through. Now Smurfy popping it across. It's off the back wall. Koala sends it away. Current the doink. It's right at Draco. Draco in the air. Popped up by Smurfy. JXL moving in. It's up high again. They'll need a follow. It's wide. And Vancouver start the series up by 1. It looked like a game they were going to lose, but they battle back. Despite getting outshot 9-7, they get that extra goal on the board, and they get themselves the series lead. I saved that replay as game 12, and I just want you to know that. As we look forward to game number 2. A strong performance by Vancouver, but it definitely showed cracks, to say the least, in the middle. So can Incheon clean it up and take this one back, or will Vancouver keep on rolling? No, it was not pick up, and you should feel bad about yourself. JXL, once again, it was 4 seconds in game 1. It was 5 seconds in game 2. Vancouver, lock in the kickoff. Where are we going? We at Corinth's in the corner. Koala's all the way up at midfield, and Arium is still driving forward the challenge and then faking away from it. And it's just completely open. Again, just a free overcommit, as by the way, we saw the second and third man bump each other pretty close to the Incheon final third there again. So maybe a little bit more restraint would be nice from the Void. Aaron trying to wait under it, though. A good flick will force Murphy up, and he'll make the save. Koala now looking to set up another, but Corinth's touch goes the wrong way. It is off target, but it's so awkward. And Koala comes up huge with the save. Murphy, though, will keep the pressure on. Low boost totals for the Void. JXL another 150 towards center. Koala, JXL, that one will pop backwards. Draco now beat by Corinth around the outside, but it's Murphy a bang all the way downfield. Koala just a roller off the left side. A demo on JXL could remove a shooter. They're able to get that one away for the moment. Corinth a bang off the right side again, but JXL's already up. JXL downfield. He'll follow it. He'll pass it across. Smurfy takes it for free. 2-0. Incheon double the lead. No one able to get a piece of it for Vancouver. And Smurfy just takes his time and takes the free goal. Just over a minute played. And it is a 2-goal lead now. Draco trying to get it away. Now on the outside, popped away again. Ariam already up. 3 players in the air there. There were 2 from Vancouver. It was won by them for the moment, but again, Draco will bang it in. JXL gonna get faked there. Ariam's touch, though, could just get more awkward, as that touch is actually a great one by Koala. Fortunately for Vancouver, Smurfy playing pretty far back, was able to read that. And now Koala up the corner again, but JXL takes it away. Draco diving in again. It is a snail's pace on the defense for the Void, and they switch to spectator as JXL passes it out, and Draco gets a free shot, and no one gets a piece of it, and it's now 3-0 for Incheon. Now down off the ceiling again. Okay, like, it's kickoff. It's kickoffs and defense. Vancouver just don't have pace. They don't have pace. They don't have coverage of the net. They just kind of abandon and then can't get back. Corinth had half a tank, so he used a lot of boost there, but clearly not to the right position to cover that, I guess. This one's out to the right side. At this point, it's 4-0. It should just be an Incheon game win. Question is going to be, what can Vancouver do? Can they clean up some of the mistakes? Can they maybe pull this game a little bit closer? Or is it just going to be a slow bleed out through the next 3 minutes? This one up off the left wall. Koala bringing it down. Corinth also jumped, but we'll get a good 50 out of it. Problem is, that touch will do nothing. Way too high in the air, way too slow to set up a teammate, and it's just an easy clear by JXL. And now another bang. Murphy up to play it early. He'll land and could keep control. Now pinched forward again. This one dropped down. Draco saved by Corinth. Murphy waiting on the boost. Does leave JXL alone, but JXL able to guide it out, down to the corner well as getting that next clear. Koala now the one left alone, trying to pick it up from his corner, but it's cleared the other way. Murphy now under it. Pops it back up. JXL in the air. Koala knocks it away. Could be a quick shot here, but Draco still able to get to it. Vancouver still looking to get their first goal of the game. Under 2 minutes left to play. Koala 50'd out to the side again. Murphy now another one popped up in the air. Ariam over off the left side. It'll recenter itself as now Corinth. It pops off Koala, and it's just in. Smurfy gets another piece of it, but it was going in on its own. Awkward positioning, and again, just no boosts will be the cause of death. 5-0 now. Incheon looking a little bit better in this game, and Vancouver looking a lot a bit worse. But hey, it's kickoffs. That is the 3rd kickoff goal of the game, and it's now 5-1. So they won't get shut out. They're still down by 4. Sure, it's a positive. It definitely is. It kind of confirms you can still break through and score, even if, again, it's a kickoff. Not typically the most sustainable, although this game definitely begs to differ. And now down off the floor, JXL trying to get it down the sideline. It'll be popped up in the air by Draco. Now dropping down, Draco pinch over to the side. Corinth waiting under it, over towards Koala. Koala now down the sideline. JXL pops it back. Corinth the center across. Draco under it. Corinth will 50 it, but it's again pretty harmless as Arian will be on it next. A low shot wide, and it pops over Koala. Corinth now left alone, has to wait, should have the save, and he will, but it's not a very powerful one. Now pinched heavily out to the right wall. Koala still there, dropping it down, dunked off the post. Smurfy will be the one to get it away. Now out off the left side again, Corinth, no double. Draco will bang it down. Smurfy looking for a redirect, can't get it on target. Brought away again, Koala down the sideline. Trying to stay with this one, it'll be JXL up in the air. JXL down, bang the other way, but that will be wide. There's a little bit of a ping as it doesn't quite make its way through, and so another close chance for Vancouver, but not quite what they need. Neither is that touch. Yeah, I don't know what the idea was there, I gotta be honest. I get plays awkward, but leave it for Arium, maybe leave it for Corinth. Instead, Koala just kind of panics, centers it, and eventually it gets shot through. So, yeah, in the end, the game will end, it seems, on a positive for Incheon, as that brings the lead right back up to 5, now 6-1. 15 seconds left to go. Definitely not enough time for a comeback. We'll see if we have any late fluctuations to the scoreline, but it doesn't seem like it, as Incheon, a very disappointing game number 1, but they'll be a little bit happier with this one. They roar back with a 6-1 victory. That'll tie the series up, and we'll see where we go from there. Yeah, I mean, they outshoot them 16-5, so that's pretty good. I think it's safe to say. I think, again, very dominant, very clearly a good game for Incheon. I think Vancouver got to play better defense. Got to find any speed. Maybe clears if that's what's making you awkward. If you aren't getting boost, if you aren't getting position, then try to bang the ball downfield. Take that time to regroup and then go again. But so far, game 1 much better than the second. Either way, we are tied up at 1 as we move to game number 3. Incheon, plenty of momentum after that match on DFH. But will it carry over, or will Vancouver start off a little bit better? I mean, so far, they conceded in 4 seconds in game 1 and 5 seconds in game 2. We're 25 seconds in. Their net is clean, so that is at the very least an improvement. So we'll cut this one off. Smurfy now going to take it away. Does get bumped and actually fakes out Koala. Should have been a play for the Void, but it will not be so. As this one's up in the air, Draco a light touch. I'm just going to flick it back up towards the right wall. Smurfy now the center down. Koala diving, dunked back over to the right side. Draco now, banged away again, bouncing back down. Popped up in the air by Arium. Corinth the shot down, popped wide again. 1 minute past though. Of course, a much better game as it's gonna roll in. There's a little bit of pace. Koala pops it around, waits under, and dives in. And he secures first blood for Vancouver. Just over a minute into game 4. Game 3. That's the one. I looked over to Barrel to see the series. I was like, that looks like a 2-1. That felt wrong, but, you know. And in fact, was wrong. Game 3, though. A very important game here for both sides. A good start for Vancouver, but this looks like it could be a goal until Arium is able to pop it away. Koala now getting bumped onto this one. Tries to go into attack mode. Won't get much, but Arium a good 50. Will kind of release the pressure, although Corinth just gets beat for free. Koala, very good read there. That one looked like it was gonna be a goal, and this one still might be. The redirect is wide, but it's popped up again. Arium won't get the touch. JXL the shot, Koala will save. Draco will bring it down. He'll grab the mid boost, but now bumped off it. Smurfy jumping in next. It's a low touch by Arium. JXL closing in. It's dunked over to the left wall. Low boost for Smurfy. He'll lose the 50, but he'll get a demo for his troubles. Bounce down now. Koala wins the 50 in. A high bounce. Arium dropping it down, but Smurfy, even without boost, is able to get a piece of that one. Incheon now in the air. It's no boost for Arium. It could be free if they go high. They go too high. Draco's follow, cleared by Arium. I think if they could have dropped that one just under the bar, it would have been a pretty free one. But instead, just too much on it. Pops it up above the net. Same with this one, as it'll hit off the bar twice. And Incheon still scoreless here in game number 3. Over half the game gone. Still just 1-0 in the end. Jake's now trying to pass it back out. Draco, finally an opening, but Arium shuts it down. Smurfy again. That one will not be stopped. It was great defense, but again, no one is left on the goal line. And Smurfy slams it top left corner. Perfect placement. And we are tied up at 1. But is it the kickoff? It's high. It's in. Vancouver get a little bit of revenge. Koala snipes the bar, makes Draco panic, and Corinth sends it in. The Void take another lead, this time 2-1. Now dropping down Draco. Get a win on that 50. Makes it awkward for Koala, but he'll get one touch out, plus one more downfield. Corinth now trying to jump, but JXL gets the touch first. Arium, bang off the back wall, but that's free for Draco. Maybe that could have been something if it threatened the net, but as it was, kind of a free bounce, free clear. Gave some space to Incheon, but the press now continues for the Void until Smurfy able to cut another one off. Now out off the corner again. Corinth trying to drop it down off the left side, clear down the sideline. Corinth cuts in, saved by Draco. Draco now in the air again. This one dropping down Koala to the right side. Awkward for Arium as they're all three on it. Arium will stay with it in the end, but Draco will get a piece of this one. Never mind, actually just misses. Koala now trying to slow it down. It's a great play, but unfortunately Smurfy sitting on the goal line exactly in the right place, as that was a double commit, but they give the respect to Arium. That'll at least give Vancouver time to recover. And now Draco takes it, Corinth dunks it away, Smurfy pops it straight up in the air. Tough read, Koala won't have it. JXL, open net. 2-2. Arium panics as well. It's free for JXL. I will say, keep in mind, it can happen for teams that it's harder to play against slower teams. You play to the pace, you can't read them as well, you can't outpace them if they don't have pace at all. It can happen, but, you know, a very slow back and forth series so far, apart from game 2, in which Vancouver kind of just imploded. 30 seconds left to go here, though. Tied up, even at 2. Well, yeah, you guys just bullied. Well, it doesn't look like this most of the time, Bacon, though. Their only close series was against Santa Carla, who aren't a lower team. So, Corinth, though, in the air. This one off the back wall. Hold on. Koala gets 50, though. Arium the catch. The dribble. Popped off the corner. Koala trying to keep it alive, but now it's awkward, and it might flip the other way. Arium, though, keeps it alive. Finally, it drops. That excuse is not needed, Lemon. Look at your roster. I don't care if someone is slightly debuffed. This one down off the ceiling now. Draco trying to center it. Smurfy will play it out into the corner. Doubled across. Played away by Koala. JXL now gets dusted. Trying to rush back our Incheon. Corinth the dribble. The goal. Match point Vancouver. Well, yeah, that is slightly. Corinth the dribble. The Wrecking Crew opens it up. And the Void are one away from closing out a win over Incheon. They outshoot them by 1, 11-10. They get that OT winner. And as we look on to game number 4, it's not done yet. They still have one more game to go, which is absolutely still a big challenge. But they are on the final hurdle as we roll on. Game number 4. By the way, this game is very far from over. If anything, I expect Incheon to just kind of like just barely win this series and then go into the interview and be like, oh yeah, you know, we were trolling. Got the win, you know, still number 1, whatever. But I'm telling you now, even if they lose this, Smurfy's just gonna be like, it's regular season, who cares? You know? Gonna just completely deflect. But, of course, still a game to happen, still a result to be decided here. As Draco will put it wide. Draco off the back wall again. Ariam the dunk down off the ceiling. Now Koala diving in. Play down into the corner. Ariam will try to pop it back, but Draco will be up and he'll be uncontested. Draco now downfield, won't get a touch after the reset. Current went for the wave dash, but got 0 speed out of it and may have slowed down. Ariam now popping it up high, won't get a follow, but Corinth is there for a center. Koala now moving in, just going to keep it up high in the corner, but JXL's there to play it. Now off the ceiling, down to Smurfy, will bang it down to the corner again. Now around the outside. This one bouncing around. Now shot forward. I mean, by the way, regardless of this, I'm still not discounting the possibility of a sweep on Daytona. That match can still go either way and can be dominant either way. Dropping down again, another 50 in here by, well, against Corinth. There's one by Incheon who are really threatening, but again, a minute and a half in, no goals on the board. The longest we have gone in the series, breaking the mark set by the previous game when Vancouver scored with about 3:59 on the clock, I believe. This one though dropped down by Smurfy, out of boost, trying to play the time, and they're giving it to him as JXL gets a free shot. Saved away by Corinth, and he'll have the space to follow it. Low boost for Smurfy, but it's right at him. He'll catch it down. Now popping up high. That'll make it awkward for Ariam. That'll cede to JXL, but Smurfy just going to dunk it back into his corner. Now Koala looking for the pass out. Ariam not expecting the touch, was cheated into the corner as well. As Koala, that one harmless to the corner again. Popped away. Ariam last back will get this touchdown. Looking for Koala. No boost to his name, though, and won't be able to reach it. Around the corner again, banged away. Around the corner. Dropping down, Ariam waiting behind it. 50 over to the left side. Over half the game played. Definitely the slowest we've had yet in this series. Still no goals on the board. I would say the pressure also a bit Vancouver favored even, but it might not matter because it's JXL against the run of play. Ariam far too slow, far too loose, just gets dunked straight into his net. I mean, by the way, let me just mention, before we get much else, Daytona went to 5 against Vancouver. I've said my piece. As Corinth gets that shot in the top left corner. Just a floater in. Smurfy left alone. Backflips. Would have been a tough angle to read. Did he? I mean, probably. I think you're right. This one now rolled down towards the corner again. Ariam trying to pop it up. Now 50 right back down. Up in the air. Smurfy kind of gets faked on it, I think. As now waiting under it again. Ariam the send downfield. Corinth trying to pop it forward. That'll get knocked the other way. This one centering. Draco. It's open. Yeah, okay. It was full roster. Draco looks at an open net. There was no one there to defend. Now Ariam trying to drop it down. JXL looking for the catch, trying to play it forward. Okay, but I don't care. as JXL trying to pop this one in. Smurfy hits the bar. So awkward for Vancouver. Can they survive it? It's looking so unlikely, but they pull the rabbit out of the hat and survive for the moment, although that touch for Corinth just beats Arium and the pressure will continue. Corinth now a touch back away again. Play back away. I mean, I'll give you that Incheon have had main roster the entire time, but Arrow played in that series for Vancouver as well. Popped up. I mean, end of the day, if Incheon win this, they win in 5, same score as you did. But hey, they gotta do so, as it is tied up at 2. Just another defensive misstep for Incheon, and Arium does great to take advantage of it. 46 seconds left to go. We have parity once more. This time tied up at 2. Now down into the corner. Played away again. This one dropping down. Draco. Played to the side by Corinth. Arium now off the right wall. Only JXL back. Even 50. Corinth is there. Shot is wide. Arium does not turn back in to redirect it. Smurfy now on the other end. Gets control. Draco in the air to double commit. That'll leave JXL alone. JXL turns. He gets beat. Arium against Smurfy. Smurfy wins for now. Koala can only go lateral. Will not get a double. Will try to chase it, but it's cleared downfield by Draco. Corinth now right back at Draco, but the touch is not there. JXL will turn back in. Up in the air. Clock strike 0. It will bounce. We have OT once again in game number 4. We head here for the second game in a row. Last time it was Vancouver that sent themselves to match point. Can they send themselves home with a win? Or can Incheon force one more game? Arium waiting under it. 50 forward, dropping down again. Draco over to the side wall. Koala waiting under it. Down the sideline, looking for the play in. JXL knocks it down. Smurfy downfield again. No touch on it. Corinth will bang it the other way. Draco now waiting under it. Gets the touchdown. Bouncing forward. Draco. It's wide. We'll see where the follow-up goes. JXL. It's high. And Koala sends it downfield. Draco actually beat by Smurfy, who cuts onto it and won't get a second touch. That's a free clear for Corinth. JXL up early. This'll center to Arium. Shot is high. Corinth the roller, but Koala can only dunk it wide. Koala now leaving this one as Arium will dive in. He'll go even, but it falls to Smurfy. Smurfy, only Koala back. Koala down to the corner. Smurfy will center. Arium can only own goal it. And Incheon will not go quietly. They will force the deciding game. Vancouver just abandoned Koala. And in a tough play, he can't get it done. And so Incheon with a 3-2 OT win of their own will manage to outshoot them this game 10-5. So doubling their shot production and just barely getting that extra goal on the board. So definitely not an easy one, but a one that Incheon will get to their name. And so now as we look forward, it is one more game. As Champions Field is so far down the alphabet, I should probably go the other way, but, you know. As we load in Champions Field for game number 5. Vancouver have brought themselves so close to the upset, but can they finish it? Because it's starting to feel inevitable. To be honest, at this point, it just feels like it's going to be another classic. Ooh, underdog takes match point. Ooh, they're looking like they might be able to win it. And the favorite just comes back and says no and wins it anyway. And it's like, okay. Well, they were tested. What does that mean? As while we're talking about it, hey, look, Draco scores. 1-0 Incheon. Arium needs to get up earlier, but finds himself waiting. An attacker's advantage. Draco just dives in, bangs it through. And only 24 seconds in, it is 1-0 as Koala again cheats too close. That's a bad touch. He'll follow it up down to the corner, but now it's still awkward for their defense. Arium down the sideline. Corinth will find it downfield. Arium trying to chase it. It's no boost, but Koala finds a pretty strong 50 on it. Koala now on it again. This one around the outside. Koala beat downfield. Arium now trying to chase it down. There is Draco again. Arium, too far downfield, cannot time that touch. Draco snipes it from the corner. And it's a multi-goal Incheon lead. And it's already feeling like it might be too high a hill to climb. Plenty of time for the Void. But already Game 2 flashbacks starting to appear. Over to the right wall, Arium will take control. Trying to play it down towards that. It'll bounce down, but no one's there. Another miss. The Koala's shot is too little too late. Corinth is wide. Vancouver stay with a 0 by their name. Arium gonna get turned around. Corinth will pop up over one, but Draco is there. He'll bang it forward. Just played away by Arium. Now Smurfy, another one off the back wall. Draco still lurking. That touch will just beat him, but it's still awkward for Vancouver. They weren't ready to react to it, and so they're slow to get it away, and Incheon won't let them get it away. Koala, another bang up high, but Draco goes up. Won't get the read, though. JXL, another pretty even 50 as Arium bangs this one downfield. Arium now behind it, shot down, caught away by Smurfy. Another 50 at Koala, dunked by Draco. As we have said, Vancouver just at times have seemed far too slow. And we're seeing it as Incheon finally getting their speed up and just challenging everything, not letting Vancouver do anything. And it's leading to plays like this, which should just be a free goal. Vancouver send it all. They clump together, and Incheon just dive in, dunk everything, and dunk it back down. And, I mean, it's exactly what I called in, like, the middle of this series. It just tends to happen. Favorites play a close series, but in the end, it just feels like the other team runs out of gas, the favorites turn it on, whatever it is. 3-0 here, 2 minutes left to go. Still a chance for Vancouver, but it feels like it's so far away, and it's only getting further. As they need to get a goal on the board soon just to get any sort of momentum. That miss by Draco could help, but it's no boost for Corinth, and it's a pretty easy 50 for JXL. Now downfield. And Smurfy's there. I don't know. I mean, I was expecting someone to play it, but again, speed. Koala's just waiting. He's just leaving it. Corinth too far across, I think could have gone faster as well. I mean, Lemon, I would just say Vancouver would do better if they were a better team. Shocker. Like, no way, but there you go. How about 5? This game's over. I mean, it's confusing. Certainly a bad series for Incheon, but they get the win in the end. I mean, again, there's still time. We got to play 13 minutes, and there is a goal on the board. So, it's not all done. But, I mean, game number 2, it was 4-0, went to 4-1. Might have even been 5-0, 5-1. It was a very similar thing. At this point, it's still over. Now, again, there's technically enough time that there could be a comeback that wouldn't need to be an insane pace of goals. But it's just not happening. You don't give up that many, and they're just going to get another one back anyway. I mean, Cozy, like there is. Void also played their sub in that series. And they had Rush. Like, they had JXL, but other than that, I don't I personally don't fully see why people think this Void roster is so terrible. But, I mean, at the same time, I think they're clearly not showing up like a very strong team. So it's kind of hard to disagree. As this one's out to the side. Corinth trying to play it down the sideline. Might have an open net here. Smurfy trying to get back. The shot quite pedestrian, but it will make its way in. Yeah, cool. So did Vancouver. It's just not a very comparable game, but you also played a bottom of the standings team and also went to game 5. It's not that hard to say. It's not that hard to see. And this one's 50 downfield again. We can also look at game 1. You guys went to game 5 against Buffalo, who are now 0-6. You can say week 1. You know? Top teams have close games. It happens. So, I still, like I said, I look at this match, I say, could Incheon sweep Daytona? Yeah, probably. Which game was it? I'm lost. Yeah, that kind of felt wrong. It was Denver. It was Denver. You swept Buffalo. Someone went to game 5 against Buffalo week 1. I think it was Boston. But yeah, so week 5 against Denver, who are sitting outside the playoff picture. Game 5 against Vancouver, who's the exact same team that's doing it. Well, I mean, I say that. None of the players that played in that series are playing for Vancouver in this series, but I don't care. That's weak cozy. Like, yeah, the team might scale into the season, but it's week 1 for everyone. It's still your same roster. A bad performance is still a bit of a bad performance. As, of course, we did kind of luck out a little bit just because, yeah, that game got out of hand. We knew the result, and the result happened. Cool. Very few people are surprised. Now, I will, out of that, just give me 1 second, because, again, wasn't exactly the easiest, but hey, it's a win. And that will be ultimately what matters, you know? You look, game diff, not fantastic. I will have to look that because it went to 5 games, I do in fact have to look at the fact that there is a possibility that that might put Daytona number 1. I don't necessarily think it will, but it comes down to the SOV because goal diff will be in favor of Daytona. So it is certainly close and a thing I'll have to look into. So certainly, end of the day, more than anything else, it is a disappointing, struggling game for Incheon, but it's a game they won. It's that simple. They show up, they win the game, they clinch their playoff spot. That is all they needed to do. They would have loved to have a better game. They would have loved to have their control over the standings be more absolute, be more confident, even if they are going to hold on to number 1, which let me look real quick. I can do that math without writing everything out. Daytona also played the Void, so go to 1-6, and that will be a divided by. Okay, I put a bad character. Okay, so Incheon are going to hold number 1 still. At the end of everything. They are going to stay number 1 just by a little bit of SOV, but end of the day, that's still... Wait, Smurfy, I gotta look at the results now. I gotta find before we go to that. Yeah, actually no, Smurfy, you guys have gone to game 5 the exact same number of times. So, yeah. Now I would say your other game 5 is much higher quality than theirs, but you have gone to game 5 the same number of times, so get better. Smile. As we'll ask about an interview, of course, while we're here. As, yeah, I mean, Smurfy, you went to game 5 against Madison last week. I forgot that series because, see, Kellen, I think we know what the answer is going to be, but I'll ask it. I'll ask it. No, I didn't remember that match till I looked either, Smurfy, but yeah, you've gone to game 5 the same number of times. So, again, you guys have, like, you could say what you want, Smurfy. You guys have played, you have the exact same game diff. Yeah, no, of course. Like, as I said, Smurfy, your game 5 was higher quality, but you can't argue that you've played more one-sided games when you've gone to game 5 the same number of times and have the exact same game diff, and they have a much better goal diff. Now, again, you are holding on to number 1 because you have a slightly higher strength of victory because you've played Madison while they haven't. But by every metric, by pretty much every other metric, they've had a similar or better season, meaning that they have done what they need to be doing against those weaker teams. So, it's literally just the average record of the teams you have beaten. It's strength of victory. It is a very simple calculation. So I look at that as, by the way, I haven't received, and I'm now getting a message typed, so we'll see. But I still look at that Daytona Incheon series and I say, I think that is a great game. It could easily be for who goes undefeated, or if Daytona lose in the next 2 weeks before then, it could be for Daytona to stop Incheon from going undefeated. Okay, as Smurfy apparently doesn't want to do an interview. I wonder if it's because they played bad. But, you know, I guess they don't want to. So I guess we will not do one. And that is okay. But yeah, I still look at that one, and so what's your question, Kellen? I'm confused. I am confused by what you say. Okay, I asked Smurfy for his thoughts on Boston because, you know, that's their next week opponent, and that's kind of the main one. Yeah, like, I think, do you mean, like, has the number 1 seed won playoffs? Because I want to say no. I think, especially Prism has tended to be upsets, like, across the board in playoffs. And I'm not sure that a number 1 seed has won. Because both forfeited last season. Then, season 2, let me look again. Let me make sure I'm looking. Because I know New York in season 2 were not. Luxor were. So Luxor are a number 1 seed that has won. Season 1, I know Erie were not. It was Lansing. And Florida lost as well. So only out of 3 seasons, so 6 playoff brackets across the 2 leagues, 1 number 1 seed has won. So no team has gone undefeated in the regular season, and very few number 1 seeds have actually won it all. It's usually like a 2 or a 3. And I didn't look at it. I think pretty decisively less than half of the number 1 seeds have made the finals. To be fair, I think quite often, especially in Prism, the number 1 has been a bit fraudulent. Last season, I would say they probably would have been, but of course they forfeit anyway. Then before that, it was, I believe, Lincoln. Or no, it was Havana. But Havana, it was like, were they the strongest team? And of course, by then, I would say New York were. And so I think it generally happens that usually the number 1 isn't very clear cut, and they lose to another team in the conversation. But we have had a few surprising upsets, like the Wave taking down Florida in season 1. That, of course, we know Halio, but I think still very few people expected that one. Either way, I think this will be interesting to see down the line. Incheon play Boston, Bedford, Daytona. So I think next week will be their test that this was a close week. Do they bounce back? Do they take down another team that's looking good? Then for Daytona, I mean, of course, we'll get to that matchup at the end, but for Daytona, now is their test. They play Madison, then Boston, then Incheon. There are 3 weeks left, Kellen. So Daytona now go through the gauntlet. That if I had to make my prediction for how I think the season plays out, I think it's entirely possible Daytona lose to one of those, to either Madison or Boston, and then beat Incheon, and we end up with no undefeated teams again. Or it's very possible, like, Boston beat Incheon, and then Incheon beat Daytona. I feel like one of the two is probably going to lose before that point, and then the other is probably going to win. Or then that team is going to also win to knock the other down. Because, I mean, keep in mind, to this point, no team has ever gone undefeated. And, again, I will state, as I did, I don't remember in which series it was, but it was one, I think, last night, when Lemon was in chat, that, by the way, only one team can go undefeated per league, since it's a round robin, obviously. So there could be one Prism, one Pixel, and right now I'd say that's technically the most likely outcome, but I think it's also very possible that we see upsets stop that from happening. But as I said, I think there needs to be a pretty heavy asterisk if a team actually does go undefeated. Because previous teams have played in a longer season with more teams. So then they're just more likely to lose. And then on top of that, if you look at season 1 of Pixel, Lansing went 9-0. So they reached the record that would have been undefeated this season. And then they lost one game past that, ended the season 10-1, I believe. So, and I mean, I can look at that. I can look back at the season 1 standings, because I don't know their final record. Should be that. Yeah, they ended 10-1. And teams have gone 9-2, whatever. It is very common that teams get 9 wins, but obviously longer season, they lose more games. They end up 9-2, and some teams have gone 10-1. So, if a team ends up undefeated, I'm taking it as very impressive, of course, but not a full mark off of the record of teams not going undefeated. I think say the league gets back to 12 teams next season and a team goes undefeated there, I think that is obviously more impressive and probably should be like I mean, you count both. It's kind of like it's a less severe version of like the 2020 MLB. It's like, yeah, there were 100 less games. How does that count? Teams did what they did, but like, you know. But either way, we've just been talking for a while. This series has been done for a while. So I think I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you to anyone who did stick around. Obviously, we have Kellen still here. And that will do it for week number 6. We now have 5 teams clinched into the playoffs. We'll have 5 more with a chance to clinch next week, as well as our first chances at play-in lock-ins. So, we'll see how that all goes. That does it for week number 6. Week 7 will begin potentially next Sunday. We'll see when I guess Sunday in 2 days. So we'll see when those games get scheduled. But your final score here, one last time, Incheon 3, Vancouver 2. So Incheon closed down a close win, but it gets them to the playoffs all the same. We'll see you next week as we get into the final third of the season.